She looked him dead in the eyes, smiled, and said something that sounded completely normal. But that night, he couldn't sleep. Not because he was overthinking, because deep down, his gut already knew. I'm a female psychologist, and what I'm about to break down today, most men will never hear this from anyone in their life because nobody teaches men how to listen, really listen to what a woman is actually telling them. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to look back at past relationships and finally say, oh, that's what was happening. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Words don't always mean what they sound like. And in relationships, the most dangerous sentences are the ones that sound totally fine on the surface. Today, I'm giving you 5 sentences, real sentences that women say. And if you hear any of them, psychology says, don't negotiate, don't wait, walk. Not because she's a bad person, but because staying will cost you something you can't get back. Let's get into it. I'm not really looking for anything serious right now. Bro, I need you to hear this differently. Most guys hear that and think, okay, I'll just be patient, I'll show her I'm different. That is the trap. What she's actually communicating from a pure psychological standpoint is this. I want the emotional benefits of a relationship without the responsibility of one. And the moment you stay after hearing that, you silently agreed to be emotionally ailing while she stays emotionally free. Research on attachment theory is clear on this. Prolonged uncertainty doesn't build connection. It builds anxiety. You start reading into every text, every scene, but not replied, every mood shift. Your nervous system is in constant low-level panic, and you call that love. But it's not love, it's waiting. Strong men don't wait for a seat at a table that was never set for them. If this is already hitting different, smash that subscribe button right now, because I drop this kind of raw psychological truth every single week. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. All right, back to it. I'm a really complicated person. Men hear complicated and think depth, mystery, interesting. That's your brain confusing complexity with attraction. Here's the psychological reality. Emotionally healthy people don't introduce themselves with their dysfunction. They work on it, they own it, they grow through it. When someone leads with, I'm complicated, what they're really saying is, I haven't processed my patterns yet, and I need you to pre-accept the chaos. That's not depth. That's a warning label. And the men who ignore warning labels, they don't get a relationship, they get a project, and projects don't love you back. You're honestly too good for me. Sounds like a compliment, right? Almost sweet. It's not. Psychologically, this is called a distancing maneuver. She is putting you above her so she never has to meet you where you are. It's a pre-written excuse for every future disappointment. When she pulls back, when she's inconsistent, when she ghosts, the story's already been set. I told you. I warned you. And here's what's wild. Men who hear this often develop a savior complex. They think, my love will be enough to change how she sees herself. Bro, attraction doesn't grow from rescue missions. It grows from mutual respect and equal energy. You cannot love someone into believing they deserve you. All of my exes were toxic. Now, I'm not defending toxic exes. Bad people exist, that's real. But here's what psychology says about patterns. When every single past relationship was someone else's fault, that's not bad luck. That's a missing piece called self-reflection. Growth requires ownership, not just of the pain, but of the patterns. If she can't ask herself, what role did I play? She can't grow past it. And if she can't grow past it, you don't become her partner. You become her next story. Yo, if this video is making you think about someone specific right now, you're not alone. Drop their initials in the comments, just the initials, and hit subscribe, because the next part, this is where most men finally connect all the dots. I don't really like labels. This one right here. Men accept this because they don't want to seem controlling or needy, so they play it cool. They stay chill. But wanting definition is not controlling. It's called being intentional. Here's what's happening neurologically when you live in undefined territory. Your brain treats ambiguity the same way it treats a threat. You're never fully relaxed, never fully secure. You're giving partner-level energy for situationship-level commitment. And that imbalance, it drains you slowly, silently, until one day you wake up exhausted and you don't even know why. Here's what nobody tells men, and I'm saying this as a psychologist and as a woman. Walking away is not failure, it's fluency. It means you understood what was being communicated and you responded accordingly. The strongest men aren't the ones who stayed the longest. They're the ones who left the moment self-respect started quietly leaving first. Because here's what happens when you stay too long in misalignment. You get patient, then careful, then quiet. You stop expressing needs, stop setting limits. You start editing yourself to keep the peace. And the moment you start shrinking to fit someone else, attraction dies. Not because you're boring, but because you're no longer whole. Women don't fall for men who abandon themselves, not because they're cruel, but because emotional stability is magnetic, and you can't be stable when you're constantly destabilized. So, here's how I want you to flip this. Those 5 sentences aren't red flags, they're exit signs, offered early before the damage stacks up. When she says she's not ready, believe her and choose a woman who is. When she says she's complicated, wish her peace and choose clarity. When she says you're too good, don't argue, choose reciprocity. When she blames every ex, don't investigate, choose accountability. When she avoids labels, don't linger, choose direction. That's not cold, that's not mean, that is maturity. The real question isn't why did she say that? The real question is, what did you do after she said it? Because every time you walk away from what doesn't align, you raise your own standard, not just for her, but for you. So, I want you to answer this honestly in the comments right now. Which of these 5 sentences have you heard, and what did staying cost you? Write it out, name it, because awareness is exactly where old patterns break. If this video put words to something you've been feeling but couldn't say, like it, subscribe. I drop psychological truth like this every week. No fluff, no noise. And share this with a guy who's strong, loyal, and quietly stuck. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone is just show them they're not crazy for feeling it. I'll see you in the next. AI features. Feedback, transform your transcript with AI-powered insights. Search AI features. Output language. AI responses will be in this language, global communication platform, most used your top 5 features based on usage. No favorites yet. Start using features and your top 5 will appear here automatically. One spot on a woman's body that reveals everything she's really feeling, and the moment she lets you touch it, her mind and heart are already yours. And I'm not talking about some cheap pickup line or alpha male nonsense. Stick with me because what I'm about to reveal completely changed the way you read every single female signal forever. Welcome to Lauren Unfiltered, where we break down the hidden truths about attraction and human connection. Today, we're diving into the silent signals women give through touch and how one specific gesture can reveal what she's really feeling. Snorts. If a woman lets you touch a very particular spot on her body, brother, it's not just a casual gesture. She's already letting you in on a deeper level. And before you dismiss this as just another clickbait alpha line, stick with me because what I'm about to share will completely change how you interpret female signals from now on. There's one area on her body that acts like a truth detector. When she allows you there, it's not just about physical touch. It's a full emotional surrender. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what's happening in her mind. Why that touch reveals her genuine feelings when she reaches that level of intimacy. And listen closely, this isn't some cheap seduction hack, NLP trick, or mind game. This is the raw, unfiltered reality of what women feel but rarely ever voice. Hit that like button if you want to learn a truth almost no one talks about, and subscribe to Lauren Unfiltered so you don't miss what's coming next. Let's dive in. Think of a woman's body as a series of emotional zones, each one a gateway to her trust. Every touch, every gesture carries a message about how she really feels about you. When she opens one of these portals, it's a silent, instinctive decision. Who are you to her? Are you safe? Do you deserve closeness? This isn't about logic, it's pure gut-level intuition. The problem is, most men completely miss it. They assume that touching her shoulder is the same as touching her face. They think holding hands holds the same weight as running your fingers through her hair. And because they misread these signals, they pass up opportunities without even knowing it. Today, I'm giving you the full map zone by zone, and at the end, I'll show you the one spot where if she lets you in, her body is screaming something her words haven't yet admitted. But first, a warning. If you're trying to use this as a manipulation guide, stop now. That's not how it works. Touch isn't a trick. It's chemical, neurological, and visceral. When you touch her, her brain registers more than just your hand. It reads your intention, your energy, the sense of safety or threat almost instantly, all outside her conscious awareness. Studies back this up. Level 1, arms and shoulders. What scientists call neutral territory shows that humans can detect emotions like love, compassion, or desire through touch alone, often with remarkable accuracy. And who's naturally better at this than anyone? Women. A woman's nervous system is tuned to pick up on everything behind the touch. When you make contact, she's not just noticing your hand. She's feeling your confidence, your emotional state, your authenticity, or your insecurity. Every subtle cue travels through the skin. Now, let's talk level 2, hands and wrists, where real intimacy begins. It's not just about where you touch, but how you do it and who you are in that moment. The same spot on her arm can feel electric with one man and completely flat with another. The difference? The energy behind the gesture, the masculine presence you bring. Here's how the map of female trust breaks down. Level 1, arms and shoulders, neutral ground. If she allows touch here, it's just a starting point. Level 3, waist and lower back, a more instinctive test. She can't see who's touching her, so leaning in without pulling away signals trust, not necessarily attraction. This is her subconscious checking if you're safe, capable, and worthy of more access. Level 2, hands and wrists. These are tools of connection. When she lets you hold her hand, she's giving over a degree of control. The wrist, even more exposed, is where intimacy begins to deepen. Level 4, neck and face, sacred territory. The neck is biologically vulnerable. The pulse exposed, touching her here isn't casual. It's primal trust. The face represents identity. If she allows access, she's opening herself emotionally and psychologically. But there's one final level, one beyond these zones, the ultimate expression of surrender, the hair. Hair is deeply symbolic. Identity, femininity, and emotional expression all rolled into one. Women touch their own hair when they're nervous, flirting, or processing strong emotions. When a woman lets you touch her hair, she's giving up control over something she normally handles herself, offering a profound symbol of her femininity. The key isn't just letting your hand move through her hair, it's her reaction. If she leans into it, tilts her head, closes her eyes, or smiles without thinking, that's not conscious. It's her nervous system signaling total safety. This is chemical surrender, not a rational decision, and it only works when it comes naturally. Built step by step through trust, never forced. Hair carries power because it comes at the end after you've proven yourself safe, genuine, and respectful. Here's the takeaway. Physical contact isn't about conquest. It's a silent conversation. When a woman responds positively to these levels, her body is telling you that you've already crossed the barriers that really matter. If this insight opened your eyes, smash that like button so more men can see it, and subscribe to Lauren Unfiltered for more real nonsense truths about attraction and human connection. The truth is simple. Touch isn't about tricks or games. It's a silent conversation. Every gesture, every zone of the body tells a story about trust, safety, and real connection. When a woman responds positively, her body is showing you what her words often won't. Remember, this isn't about control or manipulation. It's about understanding and respect. Build trust step by step, be genuine, and the signals you've learned today will speak louder than anything else. If this video opened your eyes or gave you a new perspective, hit that like button, subscribe to Lauren Unfiltered, and make sure you catch the next video where we break down even more hidden truths about attraction and human connection. Then, all right, here's the psychological truth most men never hear explained clearly. When a woman is drawn to an older man, she doesn't chase, she checks, she observes, she tests awareness. Because attraction for her isn't just physical, it's emotional safety, steadiness, and presence. And instead of saying, "I'm interested in you," she asks questions, 2 of them. And these questions don't sound romantic. That's why most men miss them. But they are gateways. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. But first, why questions? Here's why. Men move toward what they want with action. Women move toward what they want with curiosity. When a woman feels pulled toward you, not just casually, but in a deeper, more intimate way, she wants to know 3 things. Are you open or closed? Are you steady or insecure? Are you aware or oblivious? And questions are how she finds out. Not interrogations, not interviews, subtle tests. Now, here's where men mess this up. They answer the words instead of responding to the energy behind them, and therefore the moment collapses. So let's talk about question 1. This is the first test, and it shows up when she's already imagining closeness, even if she hasn't admitted it to herself yet. She asks something like, "Do you spend a lot of time alone?" Or, "Are you usually on your own?" Or, "Do you mostly keep to yourself?" Now let me ask you something. Have you heard a version of that before? Comment below if you have. I'm curious how many men catch this after the moment passes. Here's what that question is not. It's not about loneliness. It's not about your schedule. It's not small talk. It's her quietly asking, "Is there space for me?" She's checking your emotional availability. She wants to know if your life is sealed shut or gently open. Because here's the thing. A woman does not picture herself entering a man's world unless she already feels something. She doesn't ask this randomly, and if she didn't care, she wouldn't ask at all. But most men answer like accountants. "Well, yes, I'm alone most of the time." Or, "No, I'm pretty busy." And the energy drops. Not because the answer was wrong, but because it was empty. A grounded response sounds like this. "I enjoy my space, but I always make room for good energy." Or, "I'm comfortable on my own, but I'm open to connection that feels right." See the difference? You didn't sell yourself. You didn't invite her. But you didn't close the door either. You showed calm openness, and that makes her nervous system relax. But don't get comfortable yet, because the second question is much more powerful. And this is where attraction either deepens or disappears. Question 2 sounds like this. "So, what are you looking for these days?" Let me slow this down. This question is never casual, never. If she asks this, she's already considering you in a deeper way. This is her testing your direction. Not your career, not your plans, your inner direction. She wants to know, is this man alive inside? Is he moving forward or just existing? Can I feel safe leaning into him? Now here's where many men unknowingly sabotage themselves. They say things like, "I don't really know. I'm just taking life as it comes. I'm just looking for peace." Sounds mature, right? But to her nervous system, it sounds like drifting. And women don't open to drifting men. They open to men with clarity, not certainty, clarity. A strong response sounds like this. "I'm building a chapter that feels grounded and meaningful." Or, "I value connection that's calm, real, and intentional." Or, "I'm focused on living well with the right people around me." Notice something? You didn't say her. You didn't pressure the moment, but you showed direction. And therefore, she can imagine herself walking beside you. That's when her interest shifts from curiosity to desire. And yes, this is often the point where intimacy enters her thoughts, quietly, internally. Now, let me say something important, clean and honest. When a woman wants closeness with an older man, not just conversation, not just attention, she tests whether he is emotionally safe to move toward. Not needy, not passive, not chasing, present, grounded, aware. These 2 questions are her way of checking that. And if you pass them without forcing anything, she leans in emotionally. But here's a small truth most men find funny later. A lot of men fail these tests because they think they're tests. So they tense up, overthink, try to sound impressive, and boom, the moment dies. Remember, men who chase moments lose them. Men who stay present allow them to grow. And yes, sometimes the result is deeper connection, sometimes it's intimacy, sometimes it's simply mutual recognition, but it all starts with awareness. Let's recap quickly. When she asks, "Do you spend a lot of time alone?" she's asking, "Is there room for me?" When she asks, "What are you looking for these days?" she's asking, "Is your life going somewhere I could join?" Miss these questions and the door closes quietly. Recognize them and the door stays open. So, here's your simple action step tonight. The next time a woman asks something that feels casual but lands differently, pause. Don't rush. Don't explain. Respond with calm clarity. And if you've ever felt a moment like this and only understood it later, comment below, "I see the signs." And if this video helped you see women differently, like and subscribe, because the next video explains what women do after these questions when they want things to move closer, and why most men misread that too. But only if you're ready for it.